Hello, everyone. It is February 22nd. This is the Naples Money Managers with news you can use. I'm Marcus Bickle, and I am joined by Dennis Nelson.
Morning, Marcus.
Hope everyone is doing well. So, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. I'm sure everyone has heard of it by now. It's all over the news. I think it broke 58,000 yesterday. It's pulled back a little bit since then. But it seems like you can't turn anywhere without seeing Bitcoin in some capacity. And I want to say we're not experts in it, and we're not saying go out and buy Bitcoin, but it's kind of interesting to talk about, right, Dennis?
Well, it's kind of fun. I got to say that it's something new. It's all internet based,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just kind of fun. Don't put a lot of money in it. I think what was it? Elon has put in $1 billion plus, Elon Musk, into that.
Oh yeah, like $1.5 billion.
And I think that's been a big factor for driving the price up. But
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second. Just to give a brief overview for people who don't know, Bitcoin emerged in 2008, kind of mysteriously on a message board by a guy going by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. And he introduced this blockchain code, essentially a formula that people could use in their computers using GPUs, graphical processors, to complete this blockchain to gain a Bitcoin. That's what when you're mining is. When someone is mining for Bitcoins, they're completing the blockchain. Now, initially, the formula was very simple. People could spit out thousands of Bitcoins an hour, but every time you complete the blockchain, it gets more difficult and will eventually reach zero. That's where the theoretical value of Bitcoin comes in, that there's a finite amount of it. Now, it's been, 11, almost 12 years since that came out, and since then, the mining process has gotten considerably more difficult. Some of these mining farms are using enormous amounts of energy. I've heard absolutely astronomical amounts, and I can't verify some of them, but it is very, very high. So people kind of talk a little bit about the environmental cost of Bitcoin, from an electrical standpoint.
electrical, right?
So what do you think about all that, Dennis?
Well, it's certainly interesting. Here, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I bought some Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about it. I thought maybe owning some would make me more experienced and more knowledgeable about what was going on in a bigger picture way. Well, I can't say that it did.
I kind of feel the same way. I've dabbled in it as kind of like an investment, right?
Well, it is a kind of like an investment, and that's how I treated it, as an investment, as an alternative currency. So when my wife and I would go to a restaurant, I'd offer to pay the bill in Bitcoin.
I remember that actually. Yeah.
Yep, and that was a fun experience. Most people just gave me kind of a blank stare, and then the conversation immediately went to how much money do I owe, and here's my credit card, and I'll pay the bill. But a few people, a few waiters mostly, is who I was ending up interfacing with. Mostly foreigners, maybe not surprisingly, did know what Bitcoin was and could immediately say, no, we don't take Bitcoin. But I always thought that in order for this to be a real currency, it's got to be usable.
Right.
It's got to have but I think really how most people are viewing Bitcoin is kind of like an alternative to gold, maybe.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's a good comparison, where it's a store of value. And what we're seeing today with the deficits we're running and the possibility of major devaluation of the dollar coming ahead, that has certain attractiveness to a lot of people, where you have a coin or currency in this case that will not be devalued.
Yeah, completely decentralized from the government, from any government for that matter. And I think that is probably like Dennis said, the real value that this has, similar to gold. In some small nations throughout the world, it's even used as their currency because they don't have any faith in the governmental institutions. Not that we're anywhere close to that here, but if we were to hit a rough patch, people like to have a hedge against that.
So again, we aren't experts in this area.
No, absolutely not.
We aren't even sure what we know and what we don't know, but this is maybe a beginning step. And of course, if you're interested, we don't deal in the Bitcoin. We don't sell it. We don't. But we do have a little bit of experience with it. I can tell you that, and maybe point you in the direction of how to buy it and how you store it.
Absolutely. I think these initial conversations are always good ones, and if you have any questions, you can always ask us.
It's fun. I gotta say that it's fun. It's new.
It's new.
And maybe this will really become something. I mean, I bought this at I forget, maybe $10,000 Bitcoin, and now it's 50,000 plus Bitcoin. People are speculating with it, and in my view, that doesn't help Bitcoin really serve its purpose.
Because there's a certain amount of perceived riskiness with a speculative item like that. So people aren't going to put real money where it could go crazy in one direction or the other if they're going to have to pay bills with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you all. Again, this is Naples Money Managers, news you can use. And remember, money matters, but most importantly, you matter. Thank you. Have a great day.